Yes, hello everyone. So today we are going to start the new chapter number 2, the flower. Now the lockdown is increasing day by day, so don't you worry, our knowledge is also increasing day by day. We've already done 2 chapters, we are all in the 3rd chapter. I am there to help you, so nothing to worry. Let the government do what they have to prevent big loss of life, and let us do what we have to increase our knowledge. Okay, so let's start chapter number 2. As you can see, I have already started the chapter with a nice beautiful flower, which I am going to use it to teach you the chapter. Now, out of all the parts in a plant, which is the part which all of us appreciate the beauty of? The flower, isn't it? Any plant we see, whether it's a wild plant or it's a plant that you have very carefully planted in the garden, the most important, the most beautiful part of the plant we find is the flower. Okay, now today we are going to study details about this flower. Now the flower is actually the reproductive part of the plant. So out of all the parts, the flower is the reproductive part of the plant. Why do I say so? Because it is this part of the plant which bears the male and female parts. Okay, where there are special cells which fuse, which come together, their cellular material come together and gives rise to a new life. So therefore we say that flower is the reproductive part of a plant. Now if we study the flower, we find there are 4 major ring-like parts in the plant, in the flower. Okay, they are just like rings. The parts are arranged in such a way as if they are rounded ring-like structures, which are called whorls. So a flower has 4 whorls or ring-like structures. Now these 4 whorls are placed on a cup-shaped structure called the thalamus. It is placed on a cup-shaped structure called the thalamus. Now where is the thalamus? The flower, if you notice, is attached to the plant with the help of a stalk. Can you see the stalk? Called the pedicel. So the stalk of a flower is called the pedicel. What is the function of pedicel? It attaches the flower to the plant. Okay. The tip of the pedicel, where the pedicel ends, is the cup-shaped thalamus. On this thalamus are these 4 whorls arranged. So we find all the 4 whorls arranged on the thalamus. Clear? So now what are the 4 whorls? To start with, the first or the outermost whorl is called the calyx. So let us see the calyx. So you can see in this flower the green outermost, the whorl. I am going to remove it and you will see the ring like it's coming off. Okay, so this is the calyx. Now the calyx is made up of leaf-like structures, as you can see, which is called sepal. This is the calyx, and if I take out one member of the calyx, so what you will see, they are leaf-like structures. So calyx is made up of leaf-like structures called the sepals. This is the outermost whorl of a flower. Calyx made up of sepals. What we need to remember here, let's note down. Sepals, leaf-like. Now this is the structure. What is the function of calyx? How does it help the flower? The calyx helps the flower or protects the flower, the floral parts, the parts of the flower when it is in the bud stage. So it covers the growing parts of the flower in the bud stage. That is the function of calyx. Clear? Now we move on to the second word. The second word is called the corolla. Let's see the corolla. So see, I have removed the calyx, the first outermost word. So what I am left with? The next word. That is the corolla. Now let's remove that. We take this flower because it will be shown, the parts can be shown with the help of this very easily. So you can see the petals, the corolla, the next ring that was there present in the flower. So the outermost was the calyx, the next is the corolla. What is the corolla made up of? The corolla is made up of brightly colored petals. So these are called petals. The petals form a ring-like whorl called corolla. That is the second word of the flower. So corolla is made up of petals. Petals are brightly colored. And how does it help the flower? Now these petals are so brightly colored and attractive that not only they attract us, okay, with its beauty, it makes the flower look beautiful, it also attracts the insects. Now these insects get attracted to the flower and help in pollination. Okay, pollination is a process which is required for a plant to produce seeds and fruits. Okay, so the insects get attracted to the flower and helps in pollination because of these bright colored petals. The insects come to the flower, they visit the flower in search of nectar. So when they sit on the flower, they get attracted due to the color, they sit on the flower, and while the nectar glands are there near the end of the ovary. Okay, so what happens when the insect sits here to collect the nectar? The pollen grain gets transferred. We'll talk about it in more details later. So now, for now, corolla made up of petals which are brightly colored, function to attract insects for pollination. Now these two words are called accessory words. What is accessory? Means decorative. These are called accessory words because they do not take part in reproduction directly. So these calyx and corolla, they do not take part in the reproduction directly. Therefore, they are also called accessory words or decorative words. Fine. Now we move on to the next third word that we will talk about is androecium. So the third word is the androecium. The androecium is actually made up of stamens. The number of stamens may vary from flower to flower, from plant to plant. Androecium is made up of stamens, and this is the male reproductive part of plants. Why do I call it the male reproductive part of plant? This is because it is made up of a thin filament, okay, and a bilobed head called the anther. Now this anther has pockets, as your purse, your pouches or your school bag has pockets in it. So in various pockets you can keep the different things, isn't it? So here it is not different thing, it is the same thing but kept in different pocket-like structures we find. Now what is it? So if we cut the anther and check out inside, so what we find? We find that there are some lobes in it, some pocket-like structures in it. In those lobes are yellow powdery structures called pollen grains. So the anther has these pollen sacs. These pollen sacs have pollen grains. The pollen grains actually are the carrier of the male gametes. What are gametes? Gametes are special reproductive cells which can produce a new cell when they fuse with the female gamete. So here it is the male gamete. So the male gamete is there inside pollen grain. The pollen grain is inside the pollen sac. The pollen sac is present in the anther. The anther is a part of androecium. Therefore, it is the male reproductive part because it has the male gamete. Okay, now let us see the flower that I have brought. See, we have already moved the two whorls. Only one petal was left. Now next, the third whorl is the yellow heads that you can see is the anther, and the thread-like structure it is attached to is the filament. The anther and the filament. Okay, the narrow thread-like is the filament, the stalk, and the head is the anther. Okay, in the morning if you go and touch a fresh flower, then you can feel the yellowy powdery substance coming into your hand. So what is it? It is the pollen grains. Fine, do it. Get up in the morning around your house, don't go outside. Whatever flowers you have, if you can see, like touch it and find out if you can feel the pollen grains. Okay. Now coming to the innermost word, fourth word, last word, that is the gynoecium. The gynoecium is made up of carpels or pistil. Now how does this look like? So it has three parts mainly. Quickly let me draw it. Okay, the carpel or the pistil has mainly three parts. The head or the topmost part is called the stigma. The tube-like structure is called the style, and the swollen part is called the ovary. Now this ovary has ovules in it. These ovules have the female gamete. Okay, so as the gynoecium carries the female gamete, therefore it is the female reproductive part. Okay, stigma, style, ovary. Now we talked about pollen grains, isn't it? When I drew the stamen. So the pollen grains are transferred from the stamen to the stigma. Okay, with the help of insects. Pollination, I told you, transfer of pollen grains. Okay, so this is where the stigma is the place where the pollen grains are received. Then after some time the pollen grains absorb some moisture and start Now let us quickly learn how to draw the structure of a flower. Now it is not only important for you to learn this for this class, but even for your higher studies you will be requiring this diagram. So I will be teaching you an easy method how to draw this flower within few minutes. Okay, so take a notebook, and as I am drawing, see that you also follow along with me. Okay, so first we start drawing a flask-like structure. Okay, step 1. Step 2, as if something is holding it. Okay. Step 3, draw two leaf-like structures on either side. Step 4, draw two seeds and wavy lines to finish them. Fine. Darken the inner wavy line. The line which is waving inside, you just draw small dark dots there. Okay. Now, next step. 2 or 3 lines on either side. 1 round and back to the same place. Okay, what am I drawing? I am drawing the anthers, isn't it? Start right from the tip where the line ends. Down, turn, up, back to the same point. Okay. Why? Because anther is bilobed. Okay. Now, drawing the petals. Just cover all the parts in your diagram. See that you draw it in the center of your notebook, and there is place on either side so that you can label the parts. Okay. The diagram is ready. So let us now label it. This is the corolla. In brackets you can write petals for you to remember. Next, calyx, sepals. Calyx made up of sepals. Now this is the thalamus. Write the point which you drew a cup-like structure. Thalamus, on which all the 4 words are placed. Anther, this is filament. Now here we need to mark and draw how to do that. So we make a curly bracket, and if there is no place this way, you can write like this and draw it sheer. Okay, or it is also called stamen. Fine, it is the in brackets write male, so that we remember that it is the male reproductive part. Okay, now come to the other side. Stigma, style, ovary and ovules. So let's mark stigma, style, ovary, ovules. Okay, now stigma, style and ovary. Just put them in a curly bracket, and you can just turn and write gynoecium or carpel. In brackets, female. This is the female reproductive part of a flower. So it just took us 2 minutes to draw this diagram, isn't it? After you finish drawing, you should always name the diagram. What have we actually drawn? Structure of a flower. We've drawn the structure of a flower. Now we will talk about the two types of flowers. Okay, so based on the presence of the words, the flowers can be grouped into two types. One is unisexual, other is bisexual. Uni means one, bi means two. Okay, this will be the clue to remember this. 2. So if a flower has all the four words, that is, it has both the reproductive parts, androecium and gynoecium, then it is called a bisexual flower, as we just saw. So this is a bisexual flower, a hibiscus. That is why we study this flower as a specimen to study the floral parts. So you saw it has calyx, it has corolla, it has the androecium as well as the gynoecium. So this is an example of a bisexual flower. Okay, but in some flowers one of the reproductive words might be missing. Either it might have the female part or it may have the male reproductive part. So if it has only the female reproductive part, then it is called a pistillate flower. Okay, and if it has only the male reproductive part and the female is absent, then it is called a staminate flower. So here either of the reproductive word is absent. Reproductive part is absent. So now for example, unisexual flowers, we have papaya, and bisexual flower, as we studied, hibiscus. Now let us see the functions of a flower. So what are the functions? It is the reproductive part, we've already discussed, because it has androecium and gynoecium in it. It helps in pollination, that is the transfer of pollen grains from the stamen or the anther to the stigma of the flower, that is the female part of the plant. Then it produces fruits and seeds. So after the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, that is the pollen grain and the ovule, they fuse. Then what happens? There are some changes that occurs in the flower. The ovary develops into the fruit and the ovule develops into the seed after the fusion. Okay, so therefore now the seeds, when you plant, you sow the seeds, new plants are produced from them. Therefore flower is very, very important, not only for its beauty but also for its function.